Hello, and welcome to the Everyday Leader Podcast, a place for those of us who take the bull by the horns and lead the heck out of our everyday lives. I'm your host, Kat Rippey, wife, mother, and CEO of Energize Leadership. This podcast is for everyday people, just like us, who tackle life to make the most of it and to make a real difference. Life looks different for each of us, but we all have good days and bad days, and we don't always get credit with bold newspaper headlines or celebrity status. Every week, I'm bringing you everyday leaders who take leadership seriously, whether at work or at home, and everywhere in between. Tune in for life hacks, personal insights, and a good time. Dr. Jeremy Hirshberg is currently the Chief Operating Officer and Management Consultant for Transitive Media, Specific Performance, and LeadClient, which are marketing and advertising companies in the legal sector. He's responsible for establishing the business strategies and leading their execution to improve organizational performance and overall profitability. But Jeremy's career had a very different beginning. Don't tell anyone I told you this, but once upon a time, Jeremy was actually my intern while he was working on his PhD in industrial organizational psychology. Obviously, he was quite a rock star. Since then, we have remained colleagues while he moved around the country on his career adventures with companies like San Diego Gas and Electric, Booz Allen Hamilton, and the Center for Creative Leadership. Jeremy is a self-starter and manages to make a significantly positive financial mark on the organizations that he works with. He's also a very gifted management consultant who works strategically with C-suite leaders and facilitating team dynamics like a maestro. I am so pleased to introduce you to Jeremy so we can learn about his journey and how he leverages his expertise as a leadership consultant in his role now as Chief Operating Officer. Join me in welcoming Jeremy. Welcome, Jeremy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Good. I'm so happy to have you here and excited to get to know you a little bit differently in terms of your everyday leadership life. Really appreciate you joining me, so thank you for that. Are you ready to jump in?
I am. Let's do this.
All right. So I wanted to start by getting to know a little bit about yourself and where you are right now and kind of what has led you here. So tell us a little bit about your journey.
Sure. So right now I'm the Chief Operating Officer for a few companies in the marketing and advertising space. But my path to here was much different than where I am today in terms of where I started. When I was 17, I read a chapter in high school in a intro psychology book on motivation, and it immediately I was gravitated to that's where I want to focus my life on.
Wow.
If people are spending every day the majority of their time in their week, over their month, over their year working. What is it that motivates them to keep doing it? And I had a whole bunch of random jobs in high school, like working in like a carpet repair store and in a pizza restaurant. And some of these people are making careers out of this stuff. And what motivates them to kind of get through their days and enjoy what they do. So that took me through a path of psychology in undergrad and a PhD in industrial organizational psychology, really with a focus on motivation, group dynamics, leadership, executive coaching. And from there, I started my career working as an internal organizational development consultant for SDG&E, so San Diego Gas and Electric, and SoCal Gas here in San Diego. Which basically was a great job where you just go out and you go to different clients, directors of different organizations and say, what are your biggest challenges? They tell you what they are, and then you sit down and help them figure out what to do about it. Specifically, usually around personnel issues, motivation, group dynamics, management and leadership challenges. From there, I went and helped a friend who was in New York running a talent and OD group for an asset management company, AllianceBernstein. She picked me up. We were talking for months about her challenges finding the right talent to hire to run their OD group.
Okay.
And after like 6 months of talking, one day I was just like, you know what?
Why not?
Why not? Like maybe I should put my name in the hat. And she was like, yeah, I never thought of that. Next thing you know, I think 3 months later, dragging my family across the country to New York City, and that was an interesting role. I learned a lot there, but only stayed for a year. I think one of those things where you know within 3 weeks that this isn't a good fit. I think I've learned that over time and time again of what's a good fit and what's not, and I think I know that usually pretty quickly now.
Gets quicker as you go, right?
Gets quicker as you go, yeah. So I think within 3 months I recognized that this wasn't going to be a long-term plan, but I did move my family across the country, and so we were looking at options. I wanted to stay there at least a year and make sure that that I had some successes and some accomplishments, which I did. From there, went to Booz Allen Hamilton in D.C. and very quickly became the head of leadership development for the defense market.
Okay.
I loved that job. It was great. It was working with a number of government agencies, Department of Defense, CIA at one point, the IRS, the VA. There we were
pinnacle of opportunity.
That's right. And there my focus was eventually turned into really working with the senior executive service in different agencies and developing their leadership skills. And I think the biggest project that we ended up creating and running was looking at how can an executive in the IRS move over to the Department of Defense or to the VA. And the idea is that these senior executives across each organization within the government should be tradable in some way. You should be able to take them and put them anywhere in across the government, and that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
And just so happens that every executive in every department believed that they could only do their job, and that wasn't the case. Actually, so we looked at creating a skill set across all of the senior executive services across 13 agencies.
Oh, great!
And try to develop those skills so that you could be interchangeable and go